Hey everyone, welcome to another Monday edition of Real Estate Talk with Jay. Now what we're seeing this week is another minor shift in the market. Now again, these week-to-week shifts don't really mean much unless it turns into a big monthly shift and a big quarterly shift. But what we've seen is a ton of more new listings hit the market and a bunch of those go under contract. So what do you say we go ahead and take a look at the numbers, shall we? Okay, so this week we saw 223 new listings hit the market for sale. Now that's a pretty big jump from last week and definitely from the week prior to that. We saw 254 homes go under contract last week, which again is a big jump. Now, pending listings or homes that go under contract is a good indicator of buyer demand. So buyer demand has increased as a result of that, or not as a result, but that's an indicator of buyer demand. Sorry for the word salad there for a second. The number of active listings is staying rather stable. It's around 1,058. We've been at 1,040, 1,030, 1,050, somewhere in that range. Through most of these videos, we did see a dip below 1,000 for a week, but then it kind of came back up to on par with 1,000, and then now we're back into the 1,030, 40, 50. So not much change there. So where did all of those new listings go? Well, again, if you look back at the pending numbers I just went over, they went under contract. The number of closed listings was sitting at 137, which is about on par for where it's been most of the previous weeks, except for the last week of the month of March. But as I mentioned before, that tends to be a bunch of closings that stack up on the last weeks of each month. Anyway, so far the first 2 weeks of this month, we've seen more homes closed than the first 2 weeks of March. Now let's look at the sales price. So the sales price did go down this past week. It's $225,000, but that's been more in line with what we've been seeing. A little bit less, but I think that's because we saw a bunch of higher priced properties go under contract last week and possibly the week before that. But when we see the month end numbers in March, that'll give us a better indicator of where that's going. So again, the list price is right at $324,000, and that median has stayed fairly steady so far this year, which means that sellers are no longer counting on the market skyrocketing like they were in previous years, which is why we saw the list price go up pretty much every month. This year so far, it's stayed fairly steady, which is going to result in a fairly moderate price gains this year as far as housing. So we have not seen prices drop in our market. We've seen them hold fairly steady. And if we look at the number of price reductions, well, it looks like we had a ton of old inventory go under contract or sell last week, which is why we had that huge number of price reductions of the sold homes. Right now, that has dropped a lot. We're back down to about 27% of sold homes either sold for lower than list or had a price reduction before they sold. And as far as of the homes that are currently for sale, that has stayed steady as well. 39% of the active listings are currently listed at a reduced price from their original list price. And that price reduction did go down. So we saw a huge jump, almost 9% in price reductions last week. But I think it's because we saw a ton of that old inventory go under contract last week and the week prior. That it has gone back down. It's at 6.99%, which is still higher than the 5 or 6% that we had been seeing, but it's also a huge drop from the previous week. So I hope that all makes sense to you. Basically what we're seeing is as new homes hit the market, they are going under contract because buyer preferences is basically for new listings that hit the market because they're not finding what they need currently for sale. So I expect to see the continued increase in sales result as new listings hitting the market. And if we see that new listing number drop, then we're going to see the pendings and sales drop accordingly as well, because we are still in a low inventory environment. So that inventory number is really the throttle on the sales for our local market. So again, I hope you find that information interesting and helpful for you in either your home search or if you're thinking of selling. And as always, if you like these videos, please share them. Please tap the like button. If you're not already a subscriber to my Facebook or YouTube channels, please subscribe. That helps me out. That helps get the word out about our local market, which is way different than what you hear from the major news outlets that are talking about the national market. We are different than what those numbers say. But also, if you know anybody that's looking to buy or sell real estate currently, I would love the introduction to either have you mention me to them or have you call me to give me their information to reach out to them so that I can see if I would be a good fit for helping them either buy or sell their home, land, or other property. Thanks. That's it for this week. Hope to see you next week.